All right, welcome back to the Disturbing Illusion channel. And what is the illusion? The illusion is that somebody has a higher claim over your life and property than you. Does anybody have a higher claim over your life? Think about it. How about your property? You work hard every day to provide a roof over your head, your family's head, put food in your stomachs, clothes on your backs. Does anybody have a right to the product of your time and laboring energy? If you think that they do, why do they? And do you think the same thing of me? You think somebody should rule me, somebody should rob me? And then let me ask you this right here. What's up, real Donald Trump? Jenny's here. Appreciate you guys being here. Let me know how the audio sounds. Let me just check the audio. Donald Trump, Jenny's here. Okay, cool. Audio's good. I just want to make sure I'm not talking into the air like I usually do. We're going to take a look at this kid right here. His name is Dean Withers. I first saw him 1 or 2 months back on Jubilee. I don't know if you've seen Jubilee, but they'll take one person with an opposing opinion and he'll be surrounded by 20, 50, I don't know, a bunch of people that oppose this person, and they all sit in this circle and they've all got this certain amount of time where they discuss these topics. So I saw him there, and ever since then, he's been in my recommended list for some reason, but I haven't seen this yet. But the name of this video is One Liberal versus 100 Trump Supporters. And let me just say this right from the get-go, okay? Here are some questions that I have for you. I would have them for Dean. I would have them for Ben Shapiro. I would have them for David Icke, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, you know, all the famous people. What's Candace Owens? Is it ever right for a man to steal from another man or woman? It doesn't matter. I'm just using man as an example. Is it ever right for a man to impose his will upon another person without their consent? You answer that question. My answer to that is no, it's never right to steal from somebody. It's never right to impose your will on somebody, because, you know, in the realm of sex, if you impose your will on somebody, that's called RAPE. In the realm of life, it's called MUR. It's red rum. Okay. Just because I don't know how far I can take it on this live stream right here. No, it is wrong 100% of the time. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care what hat you wear. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care the color of your skin, where you come from. If you're a politician, if you're a police officer, if you're a judge, you don't have the right to initiate force on other people, violate their will, and steal their stuff. You don't have a right. And also, you don't have a right to rule them. There is no divine right of kings. I don't rule you. You don't rule me. I can't declare myself a ruler. And even if I declared myself a politician or a legislator, if I make laws, I can't say, hey, you need to obey what I say or else. That's the fiction of authority. That's why this channel is called The Disturbing Illusion. And I don't care if you're leftist or rightist. If you're involved in the game of politics, you need to have your head examined, because what you're saying is, hey, I'm okay with voting for a person who's going to rob and rule me, and I'm voting for that person to rob and rule you. Now, while I wouldn't go to your house and steal your lawnmower or steal 10, 20, 30, 50% of your income, I don't mind voting for somebody else to do it. It's still robbery, whether you do it, whether you hire somebody else to do it, whether you vote for somebody else to do it. So when we're looking at the left versus right paradigm lie, and specifically we're looking at people like Dean Withers here, or Ben Shapiro, Brian Tyler Cohen, you know, you just name your propagandist pundit. No matter who you're talking about, if they're on the left or the right, they're still playing for the same statist team owners who own both corporate entities, the RNC and the DNC. So I don't care what your politics are, your policies are. Stealing is wrong, and violating people's rights are wrong. So with that as the springboard, let's just take a look at what this kid says as he, you know, I have seen from Jubilee that he will decimate the arguments of the people on the right, but still hypocritically fall prey to his own logic and his own circular reasoning, because the standard by which he judges others is the same standard by which he can be judged, and that is statism / authoritarianism. So let's get into this.
We're going to go ahead and hop straight into the debates with the Trump supporters. In fact, we already have our first Trump supporter on the line. Their name is literally Libs Are Dumb. So, Mr. Libs Are Dumb, go ahead and prove that I'm dumb by beating me in a debate. Why do you support Trump?
Alien Enemies Act.
Okay, so that's the name of a bill. Go ahead and tell me why that bill makes you support the big guy up top.
Because it's expediting the deportation of the illegal immigrants.
Okay, so you just want to do whatever we can to expedite mass deportation.
By the way, illegal immigrants, expediting the exportation of or deportation of illegal immigrants. There are documented and undocumented immigrants, and then there are illegal immigrants. Undocumented immigrants aren't illegal immigrants. And besides that, we are talking about human beings here, okay? The only difference between that human being on that side of, the tree standing next to on the soil or embedded in the soil of Mexico, and the person standing here by a tree planted in the soil of America is a geographic border, which is completely imaginary. And it's controlled by the political masters in that particular state or country. So for a person, is it possible for a person to declare another person illegal simply because he'd crossed an invisible barrier? Is that logical? Because if you think that's logical, then you need to also say that it's logical for that same person to go, you know what? In order to keep those people over there on the soil, we need to steal money from the rest of you so that we can have a border patrol agent, so we can have all the equipment, so we can build a wall, so we can surveil this thing. We have technological apparatus in place. So if you think it's true that a person can declare another person illegal, that's why people also think it's the same reason that people also think that it's true that somebody can declare another person a tax evader and you need to go to jail, or because you ran that stop sign or you didn't activate your turn signal when you were supposed to, then I'm going to economically terrorize you with this traffic citation. That's why we have an illusion. That's why if we break the illusion, we can actually carve out for ourselves more freedom that we can possibly imagine if we stop imagining that other people have authority over us.
It was an invasion, so that's how it has to be handled. That's how I feel.
Okay, great. So do you support him like illegally deporting some undocumented migrants?
I see it as a civil matter, and that's where I disagree with the due process that a lot of them aren't getting, because there's no due process to give.
Oh, so are you saying that undocumented migrants don't have constitutional protections?
Nope.
Okay, so then why did the Supreme Court rule that they do have constitutional protections? Would you please read this off?
I think
this is totally this kid is getting the guy on the phone in a complete checkmate. Talk about wrapping somebody up in the pretzel.
They're full of shit.
Do you know who the Supreme Court is?
I don't care. I think that this is what needs to be done. And
hey, buddy.
It happened with Obama. It wasn't a problem then.
Tell me, what is the function of the Supreme Court? What's the function of SCOTUS?
I couldn't answer you 100%.
I'll tell you. So SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, is the highest court in America. You can't appeal a Supreme Court decision. When a Supreme Court ruling is final unless they make another ruling to overturn it or Congress passes a new constitutional amendment. They're the highest court in America, okay? Not to mention, they're also incredibly conservative leaning. Right now, 6 of the justices are conservative. Meanwhile, only 3 are liberal. And this very conservative leaning Supreme Court unanimously ruled 9-0 that, yeah, undocumented migrants do have constitutional rights and protections. And yeah, Donald Trump has unconstitutionally deported some, such as Abrigo Garcia.
Now, everything that he said is true under the legislative sun of this false reality. The Supreme Court serves as the highest judicial authority in federaldom, in the federal land. So they're over. Marbury versus Madison actually did us a great disservice, even though there's that one thing in Marbury versus Madison that says any law that's repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. It also established the law of judicial review. In other words, the Supreme Court are the black-robed priestly class, And they alone reserve the right to interpret the Constitution and tell you how all the laws play out and what they mean and what you should actually do. So basically, they are the lawmakers of the land. So what he's saying, under the realm of authoritarianism, that's true. But when you break the paradigm, when you break the illogical illusion, you come out from under that and you're like, they're just basically black robed priests in the church called the state. It's no different than going to any church where they're wearing robes or they're preachers with nice suits and they're standing behind a pulpit saying, hey, I'm going to interpret the word of God and you guys are going to follow suit. It's no different from that. As a matter of fact, statism is just another religion. It's just the biggest religion on the planet because most people believe that other men have authority over them. So this guy is right under the legislative black sun of authoritarianism. So he's got this guy on the other line in checkmate because the guy is acting and speaking with complete ignorance.
Why do you think that they were allowed to invade our country through the Biden administration?
Why are you pivoting?
Jamie Todd, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. I really appreciate it. As a matter of fact, I think you're my second channel member. Let me check that while we're watching this.
I'm just asking. I mean, because that's
but this question is a pivot because I want you to concede that you were wrong when you said that undocumented migrants don't have constitutional protections.
what kind of due process should they get? How long would that take to get them all gone really quick?
Once again, you're still pivoting because you're not conceding to the claim
why,
you made that undocumented migrants don't have constitutional protections.
Okay,
I just showed you a ruling from SCOTUS which says otherwise.
Okay, yeah, you're my second member. I have two members. That's pathetic on a 17,000 subscriber channel. So Jamie Todd is a member and Michael Lyon. I appreciate it, guys. I will shout out every super chat and every time somebody becomes a member or gifts membership. So I really appreciate your guys' support.
So everything you're saying is factual. Okay, I agree with that. That's fine. That's why he did the Alien Enemies Act. And that's what needs to be done, period.
The Alien Enemies Act does not take away constitutional protections from undocumented migrants. One moment. That is why the Supreme Court ruled that a group of Venezuelan immigrants in northern Texas couldn't be deported under the Alien Enemies Act since the Trump administration didn't give them sufficient time to have due process. So earlier, you did make the claim that undocumented migrants do not have a constitutional right to due process. Isn't that correct, sir?
Ones that are here illegally that didn't have due process to come into our country, I totally support it and I agree with it. Everything he's doing, I agree with.
Okay, so here's the thing though. So you don't like the fact that undocumented migrants entered into America illegally, and because they did so illegally, you don't support it. But then you do support Donald Trump when he illegally deports them. Okay, so if you're going to claim to be a member of the party of law and order, and it's for that reason that you hate undocumented immigrants so much, the very least you could do is just hold that standard as it would apply to American lawmakers breaking the law as well, such as Trump when he deported Abrigo Garcia, such as Trump when he committed 34 felonies or was held liable for the rape of E. Jean Carroll, or when he tried to coup and rig the outcome of the 2020 election. Okay, you can.
By the way, everything that you just rattle off is true, and it's minor compared to bowing down to the Federal Reserve, centralized banking cartel, bowing down to the big pharma industrial complex, bowing down to the corporate elitists. Take the guns first, due process second, father the VA double X's, the starting up space farce, or Operation Warp Speed. And the list is endless. Being bought out by the Rothschilds Inc. back in the 1990s when Taj Mahal in Atlantic City got underwater to the tune of, I think it was $400 to $600 billion. Some say, $400 to $600 million. Some say that he was bailed out to the tune of $1 or $2 billion by Rothschilds Inc. The name of the employee of Rothschilds Inc. was Wilbur Ross. 25 years later, after the 1990s debacle with Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, Trump becomes president. And who does he make his commerce secretary? Wilbur Ross, Rothschilds Inc. And I mean, that's not even scratching or even looking at the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things that we could talk about with Donald Trump that also apply to any Democrat and any president, Republican or Democrat. So this Dean Withers guy is shredding the guy on the phone, because one thing that you can count on with a statist is he's going to be hypocritical and he's going to be inconsistent because they've moved away from the moral high ground. Mike Cucumber, don't see a membership button, therefore super chat. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. There's no membership button. Somebody just joined, so there's got to be one somewhere.
Not claiming to
Maybe refresh, Mike. I don't know. Let me see. I don't think I'll have a join button unless I look at the channel from my other channel. So just I'll try to troubleshoot that.
be a member of the Party of Law and Order and then just completely support crime and disorder as long as it's a rich white guy that's doing it.
Why
Or as long as it's a Republican doing it.
was this okay when Obama was doing this, and everything that Trump's doing now was there's videos and proof that these ex-presidents and senators, etc., were totally fine with it. I mean, they expedited it too.
Can you
They
show
didn't-
me where SCOTUS ruled that
A lot of them,
the Obama administration had violated the constitutional rights of undocumented migrants within their deportation?
So you're saying he never did?
I'm saying that I don't have any evidence that he ever did.
Neither do I. So I guess we're even there.
Okay, so you just don't believe it. So you believe in things without evidence? And no, we're not even there because you have to prove you have to provide the evidence that you're right. I don't have to provide the evidence that you're wrong.
It's such a shame how weak the caller is. This kid is making mincemeat of the guy on the phone.
No, I'm just saying I agree with what he's doing.
So then respond to the critique that I gave you, demonstrating your hypocrisy. You claim to be a member of the Party in Law of Order, and that's why you don't like undocumented entry into this
There's
country
no
since
law
it's
and order
illegal.
here.
But then you literally support crime and disorder as it relates to a rich white guy such as Trump
They're not being
violating the
charged.
law. Wait,
They're not being charged.
I hate when people pull the race card. B. Hendricks, thanks for gifting that. Here's the deal membership. Disturbing Illusion membership. Sorry. I get confused on what channel I'm on. But this rich white guy thing, there's a lot of rich other color guys too. All right. Let's just keep it at the Republican Democrat level. It wouldn't matter the color of the guy's skin as long as he had an R next to his name. That is the dog and pony show that we're living in. That's the big top. That's the disturbing illusion we have to wade through in this life. And it's our job, or at least I view that it's my job to wake up as many people that I can in the time that I have left. All I am is a seed sower. I just plant seeds of truth. If I'm wrong, then, unearth that seed, throw it back in my face and go, dude, you need to rework this. This ain't right. But I do know one thing that's not right is stealing for other people and trying to dominate people that don't want to be dominated and saying, well, I'm a politician. I can get away with it. I'm a president. You're going to do what I say. I'm going to issue an executive order and you're going to have to obey it. If you don't, then there's going to be a government gun in your face and we're going to throw you into a cage until you fall in line.
Charged with anything. This is civil matter.
Read
and
this.
Yes, I agree, Oliver. Trump is a criminal. Just like Biden is a criminal, just like Obama is a criminal. They're all criminal. They're perverted, psychopathic, warmongering criminals.
What? Okay.
Read it. I'm not read it out loud. I'm not even joking.
I'm not going to read it out loud.
Why won't Trump supporters ever read these things out loud? Like I've noticed that
I
trend.
know how to read, and so does everybody else.
So then please read it out loud.
I think he's throwing something up on the screen for the caller to actually read. And one of the reasons why they don't read this is because it goes against their thinking. See, they are so into, and I'm not just talking about Republicans, Democrats too. They're so into drinking and guzzling the Kool-Aid that they can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see the fact that they are members in the cult of personality and they are bowing down to Donald Trump. Just like they bowed down to Joe Biden. Oh, I don't see any dementia. I don't see any, he's not mentally unstable. I don't see it. And now that's all they're talking about on MSLSD and the Counterfeit News Network, and Jake Tapper trying to pawn his book off on everybody when he was a news guy and he was supposed to be getting this stuff out as it was hot off the press, but he decided to wait so he could make millions with his book.
Shouldn't be here.
Could you read it out loud?
I said I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm
Why
reading
not?
it.
Why won't you read it out loud?
I know how to read.
I'm not saying you don't know how to read. I'm not saying that at all. I'll go ahead and read it out loud. The United States acknowledges that Abrigo Garcia was subject to withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and that his removal to El Salvador was therefore illegal.
That's writing. I don't care what that says. I mean, you could put up anything. Like, how's he getting away with all this then? How come it's happening? How come nothing's happening to him? There ain't
Wait,
nothing to
I have
do
a
with it.
question. So that
Why
was
is that?
a Supreme Court ruling, if you don't care about Supreme Court rulings, why do you care about undocumented entry?
What are you talking about?
Like, you don't care about Trump violating a ruling from the Supreme Court. Why would you care about undocumented immigrants violating civil laws as it relates to unlawful entry?
The Supreme Court's against Trump. Most of them that are doing these decisions, they're all bought out. They all got kickbacks, just like all the rest of the liberal parties.
It's one of the most conservative Supreme Courts we've ever have had. So 6 of the justices out of the 9 are conservative. In fact, Donald Trump personally appointed 3 of them.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's happening.
Like you
Mike Cucumber, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? We do the opposite of what Journey said. We stop believing. We stop believing the lie that people have control over us. And if we do that en masse, see, if we do it in onesies and twosies or dozens or hundreds or even tens of thousands, it's not going to make much of an impact. But we start doing it in the millions. If we just have 10%, that's 30 million, 36 million people in this nation who goes, you know what? Write all the laws you want. I'm not going to obey them. And if you try to initiate force against me to try to make me obey these unjust laws, well, you're probably going to have a fight on your hands. You got 10% of the people, just 10% of America doing that, you're going to have a whole new world because they're going to have a whole big problem on their hands.
You can't even say that they're...
And that's why I work day and night putting out video after video in the hopes that some spark will happen. It's not the majority who will prevail. It's the irate and tireless minority who are keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the hearts of men. That's all I want to do. If there's a brush fire kindled in your heart, I know what you're going to do. I know the cause you will champion. I know the hill you'll die on. I know that you'll give your life, your fortune, and your sacred honor just for you and others, people you love, and even people you don't know, to be free. I know that's what's going to happen. How do we know that? History shows it. What percentage of the colonists were actually on board with going against the most formidable, most well-trained, most heavily armed army in the history of mankind up to that time? How many? It was less than 30%. And yet they went against them and they prevailed. Why? Because an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped, even by a standing army.
Against Trump, when every single conservative justice, including the 3 he appointed, ruled that he did something illegal. Not everything Trump does is perfect. Not everything Trump does is legal. Not everything Trump does is like of fucking God. Okay. Not everybody that opposes the shit that Trump does is against him or is bought and paid for by the liberals. See, this is the big issue.
Now say the same thing in reverse. Say the same thing about Democrats.
With your mental decay and brain rot is you just want to assume.
It's hilarious. This is so psychologically interesting to me because he has cancerous statist brain rot as he's talking on the phone to somebody with cancerous statist brain rot. Mike Cucumber, thanks. We appreciate your unwavering commitment and yours too, Mike. I really appreciate that.
That Trump is perfect and everybody who would ever contest anything he does is the problem. This is why I say you're a member of a cult. You are contesting the Supreme Court saying they're bought and paid for, even though it's the most conservative Supreme Court we've had in modern American history.
If you're a statist, you're in a cult because you hold on to irrational ideas while you know what the truth is. So you're trying to hold on to 2 mutually inconsistent, diametrically opposed ideas. It's kind of like, I know it's bad. I know smoking for me is bad, but you just start puffing away. I know that it's wrong to steal, but I'm for taxation. I know war is wrong. I'm against murder, but Donald Trump must know what's best if he's going to drop 46 bombs a day. I still support you. You're against murder, but you support a guy who dropped 46 bombs a day. The best Obama could do in every day in his 8 years as president of the United States was 39 bombs. Donald Trump was dropping 46 freaking bombs a day. But he didn't declare any new wars, but he was still dropping bombs. He was still blowing people apart. Yes, statism is a cult. This kid's in the cult, and the person he's talking to on the phone, they're in the same exact cult. heading in the same exact direction on the exact same status road. He's just in the leftist ditch, and the guy on the road on the phone is in the rightist ditch on the same road.
And that's
Well, it must
an
be
issue.
a pretty powerful cult if it's a cult. It must be pretty powerful.
It
It
is
is.
incredibly powerful.
It
There's
is.
nothing nobody could do about it. That just amazes me. If it's so wrong, how come nothing's being done about it?
I just showed you a Supreme Court order where they ruled what he was doing was illegal. Is that not something
Okay, so
being
what's
done
gonna
about
happen
it?
now? Is he going to jail? Is
So-
he going to get in trouble?
Okay. So I wish that you'd actually just kind of respond to the fact that you disagree with the Supreme Court and you think they're bought and paid for just because they agree with your daddy.
I disagree with the Supreme Court. They're bought and paid for. I disagree with Trump. He's bought and paid for. I disagree with Biden. He's bought and paid for. How do we know? Because they all do the bidding of their banking masters. The Federal Reserve gets to walk away scot-free as they devalue your dollar. They hold all the cards. Key bono, who benefits? Follow the money. Who owns the issuance and value of the currency, which we call money today? It's the central bank.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have any evidence that the 3 justices he nominated to the court are bought and paid for by the liberals?
No. Do you have any evidence they're not?
Yeah, you have to provide evidence that your claim is true. I don't have to provide evidence that your claim is false. This is like me saying that I don't support President Trump because last night he raped a little girl, and then you'd ask me for evidence, and I wouldn't provide you any. I'd just simply ask you for evidence that he didn't. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to provide me with any evidence that he did it, so therefore I could assume that he's a child rapist, right?
It comes
Man,
down.
this kid is tearing this guy up on the phone. It's not even, it's a bloodbath is what it is.
Down to this is that we wouldn't even be happy.
No matter what you believe, whether you are apolitical like I am, whether you are a political atheist like I am, whether you're left or right, put a 1 in the room if you see Dean Withers is tearing up this guy on the phone who literally doesn't even have an argument.
Having this discussion if the last
Gotta be
presidency didn't let this happen. Period. This is ridiculous. I mean,
how do they let this
they
quote unquote
opened the
happen?
border.
How do
They
they
just
open the borders?
They didn't secure them.
They didn't secure them.
The wall being built.
Okay,
And
so
they just-
are you
none of them-
basically saying that they didn't pass enough policy to secure the southern border?
And none of them even barely any of them needed asylum.
Can you answer my question? Wait, I asked you a very clear question. Are you saying that the Biden-Harris administration just kind of stepped back, didn't do anything with the border, and just kind of let it operate as is, and it obviously wasn't secure enough?
More or less Harris, yes.
Okay, so you're basically saying that all the policy Donald Trump passed under his first administration didn't secure the border because you just accused Biden and Harris of riding on the coattails of Donald Trump's immigration policy during his first administration, and apparently that left it open.
Laying traps in broad daylight, saying it's a trap, pointing at it, putting neon signs out, this is a trap, and the guy still falls in the trap.
I know one thing. This is a shit show right now because of the last presidency, period.
Are you going to
Wow.
answer my question?
Wow.
I don't even remember what you asked me.
Yeah, you said that Biden and Harris stepped back and left the borders open, and it obviously wasn't secure. So that means that they rode the coattails of the policy passed for immigration under Trump's first term. So do you think that Donald Trump opened up the border and left it unsecure when he left office?
I mean, it's all corrupt. Even the Medicaid ordeal in California, they're going through loopholes.
Can you stop pivoting and
just so they
answer
don't
my
break the
fucking
law.
question?
just so they don't break the law and pay all these illegal immigrants Medicaid.
I'm sorry. Are you coherent? Are you sentient? Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Can you respond to them, please?
Hey, let me ask you a question. Who's
No,
winning?
I don't want you to ask me a question. I want you to answer my question. You said
Who's winning?
that the Biden-Harris administration stepped back and left the border open. This means that Donald Trump didn't secure the border during his first administration, and he opened it with his policies because you just accused Biden and Harris of stepping back and riding on the coattails of his policy.
Wow.
So do
why
you think that Trump opened up the border under his first term for that reason?
Wow.
No.
Okay, so then they didn't just step back and do nothing, or else Donald Trump's policy would have kept it secure under their term.
Why is Trump sitting the mold
Thank you.
of future
Thank you.
presidents right now?
Thank you. I don't even know what that question means.
Like,
I literally have 3 members now, guys. Jamie Todd, Bacchus Shamil, and Michael Lyon. Thank you, guys. Become a channel member. Support the channel. If you don't want to do it through YouTube and you want to support the channel on Buy Me a Coffee, or what's the other thing I got? I don't know. Cash App is on there or something. Whatever. It's in the chat. But I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for keeping this channel going. We are going to plant freedom seeds, and we are going to see a new world.
the left is done. Like, this is You know, they've had it for a long time. I know that, but it's finished, and you know it is. And everybody hates Trump when he's doing a lot to help us. I mean, period. You know he is.
Well, it's one thing
Like
that
the
he's done
big
to help
beautiful
us.
bill, everybody's against it. If Kamala would have won and passed that bill, they would think she's the greatest thing on earth. If she would have went over and got all that money brought back to the United States, they would think she's the greatest person.
Denton, Texas. President Ketchup Ear is going to fix everything. It's 4D chess and stuff. President Ketchup Ear. I got to remember that one.
Person on earth. They wouldn't even hate it on her if she accepted a jet.
So the big beautiful bill. Did you know that cuts
Moderator? I don't have a moderator. Do I have a moderator? I don't think I have moderators, guys. Who's my moderator?
$1.1 trillion for Medicaid, Medicare, and food stamps over the course of the next 10 years. And it only helps, 1 second, and it only helps the top 20% of Americans.
Did you see how they broke that down?
Bruh, can you listen to me? Can you I'm actually starting to get pissed off because every time I say anything, you just simply don't listen. You close your ears and you stop
Why
listening.
would I care if you get pissed off?
Why? I don't care if you care if I get pissed off. I just want you to at least try to engage in a conversation since you're the one that requested for a debate and your name is liberals are dumb. Well, this liberal's shitting on you. Okay? So actually listen to the liberal and try to prove me wrong.
You're actually a liberal? Are you really a liberal or are you just a debater that likes to get paid by the left to argue with people because you're smart?
You think that I'm paid by the left? Who am I paid by?
Yeah, I know you are.
Who am I paid by?
I have no idea who. But I know you are.
Wait. Speaking of getting paid, Molly, thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. I'm getting paid by Molly. Let's go. Let's get 1,000 W Mollies down below in that chat. Dean, please don't read this aloud. I will not read that out loud. As well as Christian, thank you for the $50 over on PayPal. Oh my God. Christian says, I know this is parasocial, but thank you for noticing me. Bro, Christian, you know I love you, man. Let's show some love to Christian and Molly down below in the chat for the $100 and the $50 donation. Holy shit. So I'm paid by Molly and Christian.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't think I just checked. I don't have moderators. Bacchus Shamil is basically a counter-revolutionary. Okay. Bacchus Shamil is a good guy and he plays into a lot of sarcasm. He's against Convid 1984 by George Orwell. He's against the ritualistic shame muzzles. He's against this dog and pony show politics, but then he says things that are completely sarcastic and people take him wrong. So Bacchus Shamil, you might want to let him know what you're all about, man.
I guess. And that guess they left. They I guess they couldn't keep up. Huge shout.
Yeah, I can't believe. See, when I see people like this, it kind of makes me sick because they get mega. This guy did a 3-hour live stream. It looks like 3 hours and 28 minutes is on the bottom here. And I was scrolling through it and people were just throwing money at this kid. And that's what happens. Brian Tyler Cohen, I watched live streams from Dave Packman. I watch live streams from all these people on the left and the right. And it's crazy how much money they will make, thousands upon thousands of dollars just in a single hour. I've never made that kind of money on super chats in an entire, since I've been online.
To Molly,
but yeah, the exuberance is over the top. But I'm gonna fast forward through this.
Domestic.
Let's see if we can go to the next caller.
I ended up top 20% of income earners benefit from this quote unquote big beautiful bill. Meanwhile, the purchasing power of the bottom 80% of Americans is actually reduced and they're effectively taxed more because they'll have less after tax income. Okay. And when we compare this to what Kamala Harris ran on, that was just 100,000, tax cuts for 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class, right? The difference becomes very clear. Okay. You would have been benefited by Kamala Harris, only benefited by Kamala Harris. Donald Trump actually is actively hurting you.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a great, great argument, man. I honestly, I didn't even think I was going to be able to talk to you. I think you're a very smart person. That's how you debate Charlie Kirk, and so I just was like, hey, I gotta ask this guy. I gotta click request at least to ask him a question. So on, man.
I appreciate you being in good faith and being here for conversation. Is that all you wanted to go over, or do you have more that you'd like to go over?
And that's what it's about, is having a good faith conversation. And if you're proven wrong with facts, then just admit it. Because what are we here for? We're here to talk about the truth. The truth is the only thing that's going to set you free, and that's not just true because it's in the Bible.
Um, I mean, as somebody in the comment section just talked about,
Matter of fact,
Alex,
I want to hear this guy. I want to hear
Yeah,
the
and then
beginning
also
of
I
this
see a couple
conversation.
people down below in the comment section saying respond to Peyton talking about the tour.
Let's
There's
see.
not a single
Oh.
point related to the tour that I haven't addressed. In fact, not only
Let me go back here.
popped up, they I guess they couldn't keep up. Huge get too rough on him. Feel free to be honest and let me know. What's up, Patrick? How old are you?
I'm 35.
Nice, Mr. Patrick. Do you support Trump?
I do. I actually want to know. So, why do you not like him so much?
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons. JB, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat saying, here, have some leftist money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I don't like Trump because I think that his character is decrepit. I don't like Trump because I think his domestic policy hurts America, cripples American industries, hurts American consumers, and reduces the purchasing power of the average American. And I don't like his foreign policy because it was significantly worse than Kamala Harris's. Yeah. And then also I see a couple of people down below in the comment section saying respond to Peyton talk about the tour. There's not a single point related to the tour that I haven't addressed. In fact, not only have I responded to Peyton, I ended up privately sitting down and playing Fortnite with him for a night, and we had a pretty good time. But anyways, go ahead and take it away, Patrick.
Backcountry Bandits, really appreciate you becoming a member.
Yeah, no, I mean, I support Trump. I agree that some of his antics and stuff on Twitter, like, I don't agree with. I don't agree with how he talks sometimes. Sometimes I do think it's for clout. It's a little bit just for clicks, but there have been things that he has done for the middle class, like in his first term, like doubling the standard deviation.
Deduction.
Not deviation, sorry, deduction. Thank you.
Yeah,
doubling
you did
that, like, that helped me. So
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I guess my girlfriend, she's a liberal. So maybe you can tell me something that would swing me your way, because
Okay.
from what I've known, like, during his first presidency, my life was great.
Yeah,
During his second
for sure.
presidency, I want to see, like, obviously things are kind of chaotic right now, but maybe they're going to get better. I don't know, but I do know there is something I can say that he did that helped me, was raising the standard deduction.
So you're right to assume that helps you. I don't deny that 110%. So my issues with his first term's policy, including the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, are as follows. So first and foremost, although, yeah, it did double that standard deduction and that helped you, 80% of the cuts in that bill went to the richest among us, okay? And the fact that the pandemic followed and only increased income inequities.
By the way, nobody in my room has the ability to erase comments. So if comments are disappearing, it's happening from the YouTube platform. It's not happening from me. I guess you can delete your own comment, but somebody else can't delete your comment. Just to be clear, I looked at the back end. I don't have moderators. A moderator or me is the only one on this side that could delete your comment, which means if comments are disappearing, it's coming from YouTube. And yes, I agree. This kid is smart.
Only further.
And I don't like, I've seen some comments. He looks gay. I don't care what somebody looks like. I don't care what somebody, I care what they believe. I care what kind of person they are. What's up, Steve? I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, hit that like button. Don't forget to hit like. It really does help with the algorithm. Steve, thank you very much for the super chat. So I can recognize that this kid is, number one, smart. Number two, he's a statist. And number three, I don't care what color his skin is, what his sexual orientation is, what he looks like, what his voice sounds like. I care about what he thinks and why he thinks it. And I don't think anybody could make, I got a crooked nose. My teeth aren't exactly straight. I've got gray hair, people call me what do they call a boomer, even though technically I'm not in that 46 to 64 range where I could be classified as a boomer. But it's like, okay, how does that enhance the argument? How does that bring people to the truth? How does that plant freedom seeds to pick on the way somebody looks or their hairstyle? I just, that's beneath us, guys. In my opinion, it is beneath us.
Disparage the average American because of what could.
I'm going to go back here. I want to hear what he says.
So first and foremost, although, yeah, it did double that standard deduction and that helped you, 80% of the cuts in that bill went to the richest among us, okay? And the fact that the pandemic followed and only increased income inequities, that only further disparaged the average American because of what could have been, right? Not, and then also on top of that, that bill cost $1.9 trillion and only led to, on average, a 0.02% increase in the American GDP per year. So it had a terrible return on investment. Okay. But those are like smaller issues, right? The big issue is when we contrast that economic policy of Trump's with what he's passing now and what Kamala Harris ran on. Okay. Because what he's passing now doesn't kind of sort of help the average American while serving to the best interests of the wealthy. It only serves to the best interests of the wealthy. Meanwhile, it hurts the average American. So we have a study from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities that actually tells us that only the top 20% of income earners benefit from this quote unquote big, beautiful bill. Meanwhile, the purchasing power of the bottom 80% of Americans is actually reduced and they're effectively taxed more because they'll have less after-tax income. Okay.
Let me just say this, Brandon. He says that anarchy is a dangerous thing. This would devolve instantly. Anarchy does not mean that there wouldn't be rules in place. It just means that there wouldn't be rulers. Everybody can agree on very, very basic things that would actually keep society together and humming along nicely. Number one, don't steal. Number two, don't murder. Number two, don't force somebody to do something against their will. Nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you. It's always wrong to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who have done anything wrong. If you're an anarchist, that's what you believe. You don't believe that it's legitimate for you or you or you to pick a ruler for somebody else that's going to rob everybody else. That is immoral. We can all agree on that. So saying that being righteous will devolve, because that's what anarchy is. It's just being righteous. It's doing the right thing. It's doing to others what you would want done to you, not doing to others what you wouldn't want done to you. If you're an anarchist, you're not out there raping people. You aren't red rumming people. You aren't stealing people's stuff. You're not dominating over people and thinking that you're a ruler over somebody. That's all anarchy is. Anarchy isn't this big scary thing, even though it's been painted out to be like there's got to be a Molotov cocktail flung from just a hooded miscreant where you can't see his face because it's covered up and there's burning tires in the background and the Satan sign. And that's not anarchy. Anarchy is, hey, I don't want a ruler over me, and I'm damn sure not going to pick a ruler over you. I'm not going to rob you. You're not going to rob me, and I'm not going to call for somebody to rob you.
Okay. And when we compare this to what Kamala Harris ran on, that was just tax cuts for 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class, right? The difference becomes very clear. Okay.
There shouldn't be tax cuts. That's like a theft cut. There shouldn't be, it wouldn't be in the first place because it's not right. And if it's not right, then you leave it. You leave it alone. You don't resurrect it. You don't repackage it. You don't put it in a political blue or red bow. You get rid of it. It's not about tax cuts. It's about stop taxing people. Stop taxing their income. Stop devaluing their dollar by printing more and doing this quantitative easing nonsense. That's the root of this evil. It's not even politics or politicians or law enforcers. It's the people who actually have the levers of power. And really, it's all of us. It's everybody who consents to and approves of and condones somebody ruling other people. It's very, very basic, and people are very, very scared of it. Yeah, I agree. Taxation is theft. More specifically, though, it's extortion because it comes with the implied threat of violence against you if you disobey the commands of people who claim to rule over you. See, that's the problem with rulership. Not only did they believe that they have the right to rule you, they also believe with all their heart that you have the obligation to obey the rulership. And it's not even the rulers that are the problem. It's all the lemmings who want rulers ruling over them.
You would have been benefited.
If anybody
Kamala Harris.
If anybody disagrees, put a 2 in the room and let's talk about it.
Only benefited by Kamala Harris.
Let's
tax cuts for 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class, right? The difference becomes very clear, okay? You would have been benefited by Kamala Harris. Only benefited by Kamala Harris. Donald Trump actually is actively hurting you.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a great argument, man. I didn't even think I was going to be able to talk to you. I think you're a very smart person. I saw you debate Charlie Kirk, and so I just was like, hey, I got to ask.
Anybody interested in seeing that? apparently he debated Charlie Kirk. That would be an interesting debate. Has anybody seen that?
I got to click.
I think there would be a lot to learn there, because you would have a well-polished rightist statist and seemingly a well-polished leftist statist in this Dean Withers. And if you got them both together, man, can you imagine what kind of truths could be unearthed by viewing the lies that are being spewed? I am What's Up Audits. What's up, man? Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate it. So now we got what? We got 4 members now? 4 or 5 members? Holy cow. Thank you, guys.
Request at least to ask him a
Yes, it is very interesting.
question. So right on, man.
I appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
good faith and being here for conversation. Is that all you wanted to go over, or do you have more that you'd like to go over?
I mean, as somebody in the comment section just talked about Palestine. What's your? That's actually a good. What is your view on the Israeli Gaza war?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a tendency to agree with
Derek Morris is a new member. Thank you, Derek.
the international courts. And when we've seen that the international courts have put out multiple arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu for war crimes, that kind of leads me to believe that the IDF and the state of Israel are simply not it. And for that reason, I'm pro-Palestine, and not because I'm pro-Hamas or anything. It's because I'm pro-humanity. I just simply don't like to see like 54,000 innocent Palestinian individuals bombed, killed, and slaughtered in schools, hospitals, and churches.
Boom. Boom.
So for that reason, I am pro-Palestine. Now, if we compare Kamala Harris to Donald Trump in the race, they were both pro-Israel.
And it's not even about being pro-Palestine. It's being anti-genocide, okay? The anti-homicidal maniac in Bibi Netanyahu.
A lot of people in American politics are. It was just simply the case that Kamala Harris was less pro-Israel than him, right? And I feel like his ideas as it relates to Palestine are like really gross. Like he wants to personally send America into the Gaza Strip. He wants to ethnically cleanse the 1.2 million Palestinians living there. He wants to forcefully relocate them to Jordan and Egypt while giving them, quote unquote, no right to return. And then he wants to flatten it and build a Riviera to then gift to the state of Israel. I think that's incredibly immoral.
How do you think we
Wait,
should
did he say incredibly what?
respond?
To then gift to the state of Israel. I think that's incredibly immoral.
Did he say immoral? I mean, it kind of looks like he said it, but it kind of looks like he didn't.
In it and build a Riviera to then gift to the state of Israel. I think that's incredibly immoral.
How do you think?
I think he said immoral.
should have responded?
And which I would agree.
To then gift to the state of Israel. I think that's incredibly immoral.
How do you think we should have responded? Or I guess it really wasn't us. It was an ally. You know, Israel responded in the way that they did. What do you think Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government should have responded to that attack then?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we had
First of all, is everything that we are being taught and told about October 7th, is it all true? Because it all comes from the Israeli government. What is the truth there? You've got the most surveilled wall on the face of the planet, to the point where they boast if a chipmunk or a bumblebee flies near it. And yet you have a bunch of ragtag Hamas members flying in on gliders and Ford F-150 pickup trucks and tricycles. And they invaded to the point where they were able to apprehend 1,200 people. Does that even sound right? Sounds like there might have been a stand down order from the IDF. I don't believe that everything that we're being told, if anything that we're being told about what happened on October 7th actually happened. And I think, history lends itself to the thought that it's likely that nothing they said was true.
terrorists on American soil that were targeting American citizens, we wouldn't turn around and bomb the terrorists and everybody in proxy of the terrorists, including 54,000 innocent individuals. I think that the state of Israel should have launched special ops attacks specifically on the individuals that committed the attack. But also, like, at the end of the day, I think I can kind of realize that I'm out of my depth as it relates to the specifics of what should have occurred or what should occur in the future, and I can completely acknowledge that. I just kind of know that something wrong is going on now, and I know enough to call that out. But I probably don't know enough to say, well, this is what should have happened, or this is what we should do moving forward.
But we shouldn't be, killing innocent children, is what you're saying. I agree with
we shouldn't be killing innocent children, and we should probably have conditional allyships with everyone, meaning basically that, sure, let's be allies with countries, but if those countries turn around and commit war crimes, let's stop giving.
Exactly. All the world's a stage, and everybody who's a statist is really playing their part as a stagehand, and they're basically doing it for free at the cost of their own liberty. Gunaric, welcome aboard. Thank you also for being a member. Let me just call everybody out because I just looked on the back end here. It says that the current members are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now. Holy cow. I am Was Up Audits. Jamie Todd, Derek Morris, Gunaric 76, Backcountry Bandits, Bacchus Mill, and Michael Lyon. Guys, I don't even know what to say. We picked up six members today. Thank you very much.
Them our money. Let's stop giving them our weapons. Let's stop giving them our ammunition. Let's stop giving them our big bombs. And let's stop supporting their efforts to commit further war crimes.
Yeah, and let's stop the foreign aid of $3.9 billion a year. Before he left office, Biden gave him $12 billion.
All right. Well, hey, man, take the next call. I appreciate you taking mine. Maybe one day I'll be able to ask you another question. I appreciate it, Dean.
For sure. I really appreciate you for your time. And thank you so much for being respectful, man.
Yeah, thank you. All
yeah,
right.
awesome. We're going to move on to the next guest. If you are a part of the 5.9 thousand people that are watching the stream, I really
5.9 thousand. That's crazy. Yeah, I like respectful discussion where people can actually admit that they're wrong and you can tell that they're just there for truth. They might be in error, but if they're in good faith, if they're operating in good faith, that's what I like to see.
Yourself with love, big liberal. Thank you so much for the love, Eric. I know exactly how I'm going to use that $50 to treat myself this weekend. I'm driving up to my dad's house, which is a couple.
Don't forget to hit like, guys.
Muffled. I could barely.
I want to go. I want to go to the next caller here.
Follow through with.
Okay,
I think.
Here we go.
So why would you decide to support 2020? You're the same age as me. Okay, how old are you?
I'm
love you back country.
Currently 20.
2020. You're the same age as me. Dot, thank you so much for the gift. So why would you decide to support Trump?
I think that personally his policies follow through with what I personally believe in.
Oh, geez. Well, tell me, what do you personally believe in that he agrees with? Let's touch on it. What's like your biggest issue?
His upper class policies benefit me.
Okay, so you're like top 3%.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you will be benefited by Trump. You're going to pay lower effective tax rates. Like I think under his big bill, the top 1% is going to gain an additional $25,000 in average per year in after-tax income. Let me ask you, how much money do you approximately make per year?
Per year? So personally, I'm going to say this. I'm a daddy's money girl.
Okay.
So
how much money does your father make approximately per year?
Probably about like $1 million real estate.
$1 million. So $1 million after tax per year. An additional $25,000 is not going to do anything. Like I'm not going to lie, an additional $25,000 for somebody that's doing $1 million per year has no utility whatsoever. Like that's like a fucking penny to like the average American. Like you understand that, right? So you're basically saying that you're going to support his economic policy, which is going to give you no fucking utility whatsoever.
Just as a reminder, everybody, Bacchus Mill is being extremely sarcastic. Okay. He doesn't mean what he's saying here. And I kind of wish there's something called Poe's Law. I don't know if anybody knows about Poe's Law, but it's kind of an internet adage that there's no clear indicator of intent. There's such serious sarcasm that people can't tell on what side people land on. That's Bacchus Mill. Okay. I feel like it's confusion for a lot of people. Why do I have to blow your cover? I just feel like it's confusing and it's super distracting when I'm trying to focus on this right here but I also feel like I hate seeing people say bad things against Bacchus Mill because Bacchus Mill is on our side. And I wish he would let that shine through a little bit more often. He's a good guy. I promise.
It's not going to give your father any utility whatsoever. And this is going to hurt 80% of Americans that, it's going to hurt 80% of Americans. So you're basically saying, I want to go stab the average American in the back, make them suffer. I'm going to defund Medicaid. I'm going to defund Medicare. I'm going to defund food stamps. I'm going to reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans just so my dad can have an additional $25,000 per year, which is essentially nothing to him since he already makes $1 million, and it's not going to give me any utility.
But that's what all statists believe. They're like, hey, I'm okay with you stabbing all these other people so we can support this good thing, so we can support veterans, so we can give hot meals to kids in public schools. You're still stabbing somebody so that you can get your good thing done. See, this is the inherent hypocrisy and inconsistency of leftists like Dean and rightists like the person on the other end of the phone. It drives me crazy.
Pretty much.
Okay, why? Because you're basically advocating for a lot of harm to millions for like no gain to yourself.
Oh.
I'm gonna be like
Oh, thank you for the
completely honest
galaxy.
with you, Dean. I joined last time, and I was the girl who said something about that Trump was gonna lead us to resurrection day.
Okay, so you're trolling?
Yeah, have a nice day.
Okay, see, no trolls here, guys. No trolls here, please, please, please. But I'm happy that I did get a chance to explain that. Like, I think that there's a really strong case that even people in the top 1% just still shouldn't support Trump's policy, even though it benefits them. What's going on? How do you? Okay, looks like they are not here. Let's go and move on to the next guest. If you're in that queue, make sure that you do indeed support Trump, y'all. And yeah, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok. Would like else we're going to be looking at. We'll see you in instance up on the stream, buddy. We are next guest up on the live. We got Charlie loading in. Here we go, everybody. What's going on, Charlie? How old are you? Okay, well, it looks like Charlie's just simply not here. We don't want any bots in that queue. We don't want any bots in that queue. So please, guys, if you're on that chat, guys, Johnny, look, Christ, Johnny, get the fuck out of here. I guess they're just that terrified, dude. They're really, really scared today. Really scared today. I wonder what it is. Let me know.
Trump supporter. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No worries. You Trump supporter, man. You
sorry. No, I'm not Trump supporter. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No worries at all, dude. No worries at all. Where are?
Yeah, I like to support Trump because I'm an inbred.
Okay, well, we kicked them before they could finish that sentence. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest here, guys. Go to drop a MAGA down below in that chat if you do want to join. It is proving awfully difficult for us to find the next guest. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
And how old are you?
19.
19, and what time is it?
4.7.
Okay, your mic is incredibly muffled. I think you said 4:37, but like, holy shit, it was so muffled. Is there anything you could do to fix that?
Yeah, I got you.
Great. And if you are part of the 6.4 thousand people in the TikTok live stream, y'all make sure you're double tapping. Let's try to get up to 2 million likes. So we're also going to try to just get other guests up here as well in the meantime. Yeah, so much better, man. So what year are you born in?
Was born in -1.
Okay. I think he just said the N-word. Maybe my ears are deceiving me. I kicked him. What's up, Louis? How old are you?
18.
18. What year are you born in? Okay.
2007.
It's another child. Jason, what's up? Are you MAGA?
I am. You don't remember me from the other day?
No, I don't. Are you driving?
$500.
Do you owe me $500?
Yeah, you remember?
Oh, Jason, I do remember you. Why would you bring that up? You owe me $500. Why haven't you paid up yet?
If I owe you, you'll never be broke. Hey, listen, I do got a serious question for you, though.
Are you driving?
I'm at work, yes.
Okay, Jason, I can't have you on the live because of TikTok to West. Re-request when you're not driving, and I'll happily pull you back up, man.
Hold on, I'm stopping right now.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, would you mind disconnecting your phone from Bluetooth, though, just so we can hear you a little better? All right, while he's doing that, y'all make sure that we're double tapping.
The Supreme Court ruling and such.
Yep. What's going on, man?
That a little better?
Much better.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about this deportation and the Supreme Court ruling and such.
Yep.
Why are we affording illegal immigrants protection under the United States Constitution when they're not? Why? I mean, explain it to me, please.
Yeah, because that's the way that the drafters of the Constitution wrote the Constitution. It wasn't exclusive to citizens. It applied to everybody in the country. And like the main motivation behind that is a lot of our constitutional rights are in all reality just like human rights. Like, think about it. Due process isn't merely something we should get because the Constitution says so. It's something that we should get because I see it as a human right. I don't think it'd be okay to just lock somebody up in jail for the rest of their life on a mere suspicion that they're a kidnapper or a murderer, right? Like we have to reward them that right to due process in order to make that appropriate determination, so we aren't committing like rights violations.
Okay, so my question is, when these people break the law in order to come into our country, they don't do due process, or they don't do the process, they don't complete the process of becoming a U.S. citizen. They just sneak across, however they get across, whether snuck across, brought across, whatever. They come in illegally into our country, because there is a process to do it legally, right?
Yep, there is.
So when these people do not do it legally and they bring it upon their own, take it upon their own to come over, however they get across illegally, why are they then protected under our legal system?
Yeah, for sure.
When they broke the law in the first place to get here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying, and I think that my main issue with what you're saying is just how hypocritical it is. You're like, oh, like if you commit a civil infraction and you enter into the country illegally, guess what? You're not deserving of human rights. But if you're a citizen like Trump and you don't just commit a civil infraction, but you literally rape a woman, you commit 34 felonies, and you try to steal a federal election, you're not only deserving of human rights and constitutional rights, but you're deserving of the presidency. You know, it's just like crazy. Like you want to paint these people like criminals and say
he just did whataboutism. This is his weakest, most horrible argument so far.
For that reason, we shouldn't reward them any leniency, not even the leniency of human rights. Okay, but as soon as that criminal is Trump, we should reward them.
What about Trump? And nobody's talking about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is, what gives one human the right to declare another human illegal? What is illegality? Do we always equate illegality with immorality? Do we always equate legality with morality? Haven't there been things that were legal that were completely immoral, like slavery? Hasn't there been things that were illegal that were completely moral, like freeing the slaves? If you freed a slave back in the 1840s and 50s and 60s, and even the 1870s after Lincoln, if you freed some of those slaves, you would hang on the gallows, because it was illegal to do a righteous thing like free a human being from the shackles and bondage of slavery. So what they're talking about here is the plane of legality versus illegality. And there's another plane of morality or immorality. And there's another plane of some people, they believe they have the right to tell you what you can do and what you are and what should happen to you if we declare that you're illegal. We got to talk about this stuff. Now, one thing that about the illegal aspect is a lot of these people come because they're offered free stuff on your dime. That is also highly immoral. So, of course, if there's somebody who is being oppressed in one country and they see another country is better to live in, they're going to be incentivized to make that long, dangerous trek to come over to that land that they're going to be less oppressed in. And they're going to be even more incentivized, like it's going to turbocharge their incentivization to come across that border, because you're going to get I get a free phone and free food and a place to stay and an air-conditioned atmosphere, and my kids get to get medical care on somebody else's dime. Where do I sign? So the state is that great fiction that supplies for some at the expense of others.
All the leniency in the world. In fact, we should just give them the highest ranking position of power available to any human on a golden plate.
Yeah, Trump is bad. Trump is bad. Hello? Hello?
You got to unmute, man. Click on that face of yours. There you go.
You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't a New York judge just exonerate Trump of all 34 charges?
Did he appeal it? When did this happen? No, I feel like I would have seen it if it happened. I don't think so.
I don't know that it's true or not. I have seen it. So here's the thing. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I get all my news off of TikTok, but I did see it several times recently that under appeal, a judge did just appeal or exonerate all 34 charges. And Godspeed on your presidency.
Nope, I'm actually not seeing anything about that. So I obviously,
well, like I said,
I feel like
I don't watch TV or the news, but I see shit on here, and who knows what's true and not true.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm like really tapped in. Obviously, it's my full-time job. I would have heard about that if that happened, but like I still yet looked it up. No, there's not been any updates on his 34 felonies. I mean, since the judge gave him his sentence.
So I don't know if it's AI that people are.
Just to give you, Trump was not exonerated on the 34 charges. He was convicted on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in a New York hush money trial on May 30th, 2024, while the Federal Reserve goes free to do whatever they want to do with trillions of dollars of notes of federal debt, FRNs. The charges stem from a scheme to conceal $130,000 payment to an adult film star, Stormy Daniels, to suppress information about an. This is such, guys, this is microplankton in an ocean of blue whales. This is nothing. And people make a huge issue out of these 34 charges where he's convicted of falsifying business records. If you're not free in America to falsify your own business records, you are not free. You're not a criminal if you falsify your own business records to get away from big daddy government. You just aren't. If you think you are, yeah, I'd like to hear the other side of it.
Doing or what, but they did show a judge talking, saying that he was exonerated of all 34 charges. And
maybe you're
like
referencing.
I said,
Who cares? This is stupid. This is dumb.
may or may not be true. I don't
Maybe
know.
you're referencing the Florida judge that let him off the hook for the documents case like a year and a half ago, but you're definitely not talking about anything recent as it relates to his 34 felonies.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that for
What's up, Jersey Bob, Back Shamil, Censored One, Harry Smith, Robert? Thanks for being here.
sure. I was just asking. But it just seems really weird to me how somebody can sneak into the country illegally.
Yeah.
And then given, I mean,
So,
you understand.
So I have a question.
You do understand my point, though, right?
Jeffrey
Like, I'm not
Dahmer.
completely off
Jeffrey
in left
Dahmer
field.
was given due process, right?
He was also a United States citizen.
So you're basically telling
I mean-
me. So you're basically telling me that you should get more leniency if you like kill and eat 14 people than if you were to illegally enter into the country. That's kind of crazy. Like apparently undocumented entry into America, which by the way,
but
ends
if
up,
if you do it in the country that you're a citizen of,
let me talk real quick, Jason. So you're basically saying like undocumented entry into America, which by the way only has like good outcomes for the country, like more money paid in taxes, more money contributed to the GDP, a larger labor force to uphold American industries. Like that is literally worse than killing and eating 14 people. You know, like if you kill and eat 14 people, you should be rewarded more rights than an undocumented migrant that's just trying to provide for themselves and their families. I think it's just like an incredibly dehumanizing view. And in fact, I think the view that undocumented migrants don't deserve these constitutional protections, even though we view them as human rights, is a tenet of fascism because you yourself are.
Thanks, Harry. I appreciate that.
Proudly
Don't forget to hit like, guys. Appreciate you hitting the like button.
Upholding a disdain for human rights. And like B, right, it's just completely consequential of the rhetoric that Donald Trump has been spewing about how undocumented migrants are essentially subhuman, saying things like they're poisoning the blood of this country, they're quote unquote aliens, and all this other dehumanizing rhetoric and terminology. Like you understand that this has plenty full of negative.
No, I think he's 20, but even if he was 12, it wouldn't matter to me. He's got a good head on his shoulders. It's just that he's caught in the leftist statist paradigm lie that most people are caught up in. Leftist, rightist, they're still statist. Let's go to the next caller. This is not very stimulating to me.
For the love, that's incredibly kind of you. Compared to debating me on it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to like know some like I don't really know what's going on. I don't know like what news sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I'm telling you, you watch the stream, you'll have a significantly better idea of what's going on because we basically have conversations for 4 hours a day about what's going on.
All right, let's go. Let's go. By the way, if you guys like this live stream, I've got a whole lot of things lined up. If you like going live, put a 1 in the room. Thanks for being here on where are we on here? We're on Facebook Live, we are on Rumble Live, we are on X Live, and we are on YouTube.
That I kind of didn't agree with some of the things.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so.
All right, here we go.
All right, take it away, bro.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so, but I didn't really get on here to debate Trump. There was something that you said earlier that I kind of didn't agree with some of the things that you've said in the past.
Okay, like what?
Well, you said that like you don't support innocent children being killed, right? But I believe you're
Right.
pro-choice.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I only support innocent children being killed if they're in a woman's uterus, right?
But it's like essentially the same thing because it's a human life.
Mask off! Kill the innocent children! I'm just kidding. So I actually don't find any trait that exists in a fetus that I should find morally valuable.
So like no living cells at all.
I don't think that living cells matters.
Well, it'll form into a human life.
It'll be a human in the
It's
future.
like it's essentially the same thing.
So we should value things that might be human in the future?
It's not a might, it's a definite.
Okay, well then you don't value fetuses because, I mean, like what is it? 1 in 3 pregnancies miscarry?
Not 1 in 3.
Okay, do 100%? I'm pretty sure that it is 1 in 3. But regardless, is like when you say that it will definitely be human in the future, you're basically saying it will with certainty. Like you're saying it's a 100% chance that it will be an individual like you are in the future. Is there a 100%
No, sir.
success rate
That's
of
not what I
abortion?
said.
Okay, so then what are you saying?
So like what I was saying was that like it's a definite that it will become a human
Yeah,
life,
but definite means
whether or
it's
not
like,
it perishes.
but when you say like definite, like you're basically saying it's 100% going to happen, right?
Like not essentially.
Okay, so then what does definite mean?
What's this gonna happen? Is it a human life or isn't it? I mean, I don't understand that. First of all, government should not be involved in telling anybody to do anything with their body, and that includes getting married, where you can live, how much of your money you can keep, or if you whatever you do with your baby inside your womb. The government should not be involved in any of that. So I don't even talk about that because the government shouldn't be involved in those aspects of your life. Government, according to the Declaration of Independence, if there was such a thing as people ruling over you, the only legitimate declaration, and when I say legitimate, it comes with a caveat, the only legitimate purpose for government is to protect your life, your liberty, your property, and your pursuit of happiness. But guess what? Government doesn't exist because nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you. Now, you can voluntarily organize to have a coalition who gets together that you can pay. It's got to be under voluntary means. There can't be compulsion. There can't be coercion. You can get together and organize a highly effective militia to safeguard your life, your liberty, your property, and your pursuit of happiness. But government, if there was such a thing as that, then according to the Declaration of Independence, the only legitimate role they have is to protect your life, to protect your property, and your pursuit of happiness. That's it. That's all. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end of the purpose of government if it existed. That's it. They've gone way beyond that. Way beyond that. They should not be involved in what you can or can't do with your body. That includes sex change operations. That includes circumcision. That includes who you can marry and when and how it should be done. And if you're going to get permission from the government, and it includes pregnancy. And if anybody disagrees with me on that, put a 2 in the room. But as far as I'm concerned, the government has no claim over your life or anybody else's life or property.
Definite is like okay, I shouldn't say definite then. I should say like probability like wise is like higher up than
like
less than.
Like a higher like it's more likely it's going to occur than not occur. Got it. Okay. All right. So if something is more likely than not going to be a person like you or me in the future, we shouldn't be able to kill it, is what you're saying. We shouldn't be able to stop it.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, like the sperm and egg that both your mother and your father produced on the night of your conception, more likely than not, would have been a human in the future because we know that you were conceived from it, right? So would it have been wrong for your dad to pull out and kill that sperm?
Well, I'm a Christian, and in the Bible it says don't waste the seed. So, like in my personal belief, yes.
Oh, okay. So you're basing your pro-life view off of your Christian beliefs.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's appropriate to do. I don't think that's appropriate to do at all. And I'll tell you why. First and foremost, do you agree with like typical reform preaching about how all sins are equal in the eyes of God outside of blasphemy as they all fall short of his glory?
In a sense.
Okay. So do you think that like it should be illegal to lie and tell your children that Santa Claus exists?
Like I don't personally believe in like lying.
Should it be illegal to lie and tell your children that Santa Claus exists?
I don't think it should be illegal. Like it's
Right.
not illegal to commit sin.
Right. Okay. Well, you're telling us
This is actually think about this, guys. No matter what you think about Dean Withers here, no matter what you think about Democrats or Republicans or whatever, he's laying a perfect trap. But he's also laying a trap for himself, because he's saying he's constructing the gallows, and this guy's going to walk up on the gallows and put the noose around his own neck, because he's being very crafty about this. If your worldview is painted by what you should or shouldn't do according to the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Hindu Vedas or whatever, then you have to be willing. If you want government to make abortion illegal, then you should also want government to make it illegal, and they got to be in your bedroom for this, to have your father pull out, or it's got to be illegal for you to lie to your children about it. You told your children that there's an Easter bunny, that there's a Santa Claus. Guys, you don't want to call for the government to meddle into the affairs of anyone's life, including your own. As soon as you start calling for the government to meddle in the affairs of anybody else's life, the floodgates will soon be flung open. We'll have such a bloated government with such a massive military industrial complex, a prison industrial complex, wasting, have these debt ceilings that are constant. Oh, that's right. We have a government like that. And why do we have a government like that? Because we have people with mentalities like this, a mentality of, well, I want the government to do this. You need to stop women from aborting their babies. You need to stop. You need to start taking more taxes from them so that we can give to these people over here. Oh, look, all those people over there need help. Hey, that foreign country needs help. And then before you know it, you have a surveillance police state that is kind of like, what was that Tom Cruise movie, The Minority Report, where they're engaging in stopping pre-crime. Before you even committed the crime, we knew that you were going to do this based on these characteristics. And we may be entering that realm right now with AI. They may be starting to develop these predictive programmings and have predictive programming, just like they have predictive policing, so that they can stop crimes before it happens. You can't do that. You don't want that. You don't want the government to have that kind of power. So if you're asking government, Daddy government, please stop abortions, you're asking them to do everything else that comes with that. Here, just stick your foot in the door for stopping abortions. Yeah, they're not going to stop there. That's not how cancer works. It metastasizes, and it starts parasitically feeding off of everything.
That although it's a sin to lie and tell your children that Santa Claus exists, it shouldn't be illegal.
And besides that, think about this. The biggest murderous death cult, you're going to ask them to stop women from offing their children in the womb. Brilliant.
So then why should the sin of abortion be legal if those two sins are identical in the eyes of God?
Well, murder is considered a crime, right?
You got me. So this isn't just a critique that would apply to abortion or lying. This is actually an overall critique that disposes the truth of the matter, of the fact that you just simply cannot coherently run and operate a criminal justice system using Christianity as a support. Okay, like there's no delineation that we can make given the scripture and your Christian beliefs between the sin of murder or the sin of lying. But obviously you think that one sin is worse than the other given your preferences, and you use those preferences to dictate how the state should legislate.
Actually, he's got a good point here, because if you think about it, in Revelation 21:8, I think it says something like, the vile, the abominable, the sorcerers, those who practice magic arts, the murderers, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone. So Virus Untreated said the Bible strongly condemns lying, viewing it as a sin and an abomination to God, equal to murder. So if you're against murder and you want the government to be involved in stopping the murder in the womb, then you got to have the government put a kibosh on you lying about the Easter bunny and the tooth fairy and Santa Claus.
Okay, well, that's just not rooted within your Christian beliefs. And he left, man. I really wish that you wouldn't have left there, because I wasn't just trying to dunk on you. I was actually about to have a really good conversation with you, make a good couple points as it relates to the applicability of Christian values to how you run and structure a government. But they left, so we're gonna move on to the next guest. Echo, Micah, what's up? How old are you? Lumberjack, what do you want? Put it in the chat and just tag me again, Lumberjack. Let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Levi loading up on this stream right now. Yo, Brianna, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Show some love to Condra, Kennedy, and Emily down below in that chat. Come on, man. What do you bet down? Are you ready?
You support the best president
of your life?
Okay, here we go.
No, okay, all right. So why do you support the worst president of your lifetime, Trump?
Why don't you support the best president of your lifetime?
Okay, you think he's the best president of my lifetime. So that means that you think he has some really strong policy. Name one of these strong policies of Trump's.
How are you?
Got it. Go ahead. Interrupt me. It's fine.
How old are you? I mean, you interrupt everybody, so I didn't think you would mind too much.
That's why I said it's fine, obviously.
This guy's already being a snowflake on the other end.
Because I don't mind when people interrupt me. But I'm 20.
It's irrelevant how
20.
Oh,
old this guy is.
Okay. So
looks like you got some MAGA mobile there, man.
That were,
Looks like you got some MAGA mobile there, man. Were you lying about not driving?
you said MAGA?
Yeah, it just means really shitty connection.
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're not driving?
Yeah, I got T-Mobile, and
Okay, then what do I think?
No.
Okay, you're not driving.
If this kid is a snowflake, I haven't seen him demonstrate that yet. He could be, but I haven't seen him demonstrate it yet.
Would you mind like turning on your camera real quick?
how the fuck is it? Why do I gotta turn on my camera for you?
So you could
To
show
have
that
a
you're
conversation with you.
not. So you could show that you're not driving.
You. What I want to know. What I want to know
Is there something in TikTok terms of service? Because he alluded to that before, where you can't drive while you're live streaming. Is that a thing?
Okay. Be more relentless.
like I would say probably.
Be more relentless. I just kicked you from the stream. The reason why I kicked you from the stream is because your connection is so bad. It is literally incoherent.
All right, we're gonna go to the next
I'm
one.
not gonna lie. I've been realizing in the last couple of weeks that like women are very like hard to find.
Let's see.
I'm supporting in the queue.
Let's go to one more caller.
Are willing to fight for what's right.
Here we go.
Watching. No.
It is 4:50.
What's going on? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Nice. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
What time is it?
It is 4:58.
4:58. Grace, are you MAGA?
No, but I just wanted to thank you for coming on here every single day and doing what you do because it's amazing. And honestly, watching your content and the stuff that you make makes me feel safer and makes me feel a lot happier that there's people out there that are willing to fight for what's right. So just want to
Grace.
say that. Yeah, you can kick me off now if you want, but have a great day.
You as well, Grace. That is incredibly kind of you. I appreciate you for your incredibly kind words. There you why?
Corporations pay taxes. The largest tax. Yeah, I would say. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Yeah, I would say he is giving the largest tax break to the middle class, as well as having corporations pay taxes. This is my argument.
Okay, so the basis of your argument is wrong on both fronts. So the Center for on Budget and Policy Priorities actually indicates to us that this quote unquote big beautiful bill is going to decrease the after-tax income for the bottom 80% of Americans, which includes the middle class and the low class. And then your second claim there is that he's increasing taxes on corporations. No, he actually wants to decrease the corporate tax rate from 21 to 15%.
Well, that wasn't my argument. My argument was that he gets corporations to pay taxes.
Okay, I'm not so sure if I understand that argument. We'll talk about that next. I guess first you should respond to the first part.
Okay, I would say that carrying on his 2017 tax plan of doubling the standard deduction rate, as well as no tax on tips.
Wait, bro, what the fuck is your profile picture? Like seriously, like explain to me what that means. I see a picture of Joe
just
Biden, and then I see Kamala Harris in a bikini. Joe Biden has money in his hands, and I think it says, what is the text? Does it say ratchet shit?
It was a nightclub promotion. I don't know. I just saw it. It was funny.
I think that's like so incredibly cringe.
That's fun.
Right. I think, and then also just like the sexualization of Kamala Harris. Have you ever like sexualized like a male politician? Have you ever seen anybody sexualize like a male politician? Maybe make a picture of them shirtless in
maybe I could
in a
reverse it.
Speedo?
I could have maybe I could have Biden on the bottom and then Harris throwing up the money.
That's okay. That's still pretty cringe.
But
take it away though. It's a cringe
Yeah,
profile
but-
picture.
My argument would be doubling the standard deduction rate. Similar, well, he is continuing that on his 2017 tax plan, as well as including.
This is the language of slaves. You're actually saying, please just take a little less, master. How about you're not my master and I'm not giving you my stuff? And what if 36 million Americans did that? You're not my master. I work for my stuff. You don't get up with me every morning, IRS. You're not helping me pay my bills. You're not scrounging and scrimping and scraping to get a business off the ground. You didn't help me do that. Matter of fact, you put barriers in my way. So get off my back. I'm not asking you for anything but to just leave me the frick alone. I'm not asking you to lighten my chains. I'm asking you, I'm just, hey, I'm walking away. And if you come after me, then you're going to get what you get. You don't go, well, if you could just, if you could double the percentage of the exemptions so that I could, keep a little bit more of my money, please, master.
Writing off tips, as well as overtime, and then the $4,000 tax credit on Social Security would mostly benefit the middle class. And with that being said, if you wanted to get into my argument about corporations, we could as well.
I mean, yeah. So when we look at the entirety of the Big Beautiful Bill,
Corporation is government. Government is corporation. Corporation is just a business that once started that's making a bunch of money that gets the blessings and the benefits and the tax breaks of the government. So they're working hand in hand. You can't have a corporation without the government blessing.
Bill, considering all cuts as well as all forms of relief, like I said, the bottom 80% of Americans are going to have a lower after-tax income. Now, you could point out like specific things that they'd benefit from. However, in totality, like they're obviously not going to benefit from it, as they're going to have their after-tax income reduced.
Well, would you say? Well, would you say?
And, like,
it
I'm just
would
going to let
benefit-
you. I'm just going to let you make this argument, and then I'm going to kick you. And if you change your profile picture, I'll have you back up. Incentivization for you doing good.
Well, can we? Okay, well, so then fine. Can we get into the corporations paying taxes?
No, because I want you to respond to my refutation of your first point there. And if you want to talk about the corporate thing, if you change your profile picture, I'll let you right back up.
So so do the majority of Americans work hourly?
Do majority of Americans? I don't know. Probably.
So hourly means no tax and overtime. So you would say that would benefit majority of Americans.
Okay, I've responded to this twice. Do I need to respond to? Okay, how about this? Can you repeat the response that I gave you twice?
Well, you said the bottom 80%, but I'm showing you that the consensus would be the
No. So I've responded to that as well. Repeat my refutation, please.
You said the bottom of 80% would actually see tax increases.
Right. And that's when we consider the totality, the impact of this quote unquote big beautiful bill. You'd be able to point out things on them like that would benefit them. However, when we'd also consider the parts of the bill in which would serve as a detriment, it is the case that their after-tax income is reduced. So,
but wait, we just agreed that the majority of Americans would be on hourly. So if you're saying the bottom 80%, I'm showing you that the majority of Americans would benefit from that.
Okay, now you're just saying words. Like I don't even know.
How am I saying words?
Yeah, because you're just saying that I'm wrong and that they'd actually benefit.
All right, this is getting old to me. Anytime you start talking about taxes and, oh my gosh, I hope they steal less from me this year, it just makes me sick and it makes me start sweating. So, and it's 9:07. We've been at this for an hour. I meant to only do an hour and a half. It's an hour and 28 minutes right now. Let me just give a couple shout outs right here. Jamie Todd, thanks for becoming a new member. Mike Cucumber, thanks for being, thanks for the super chat. B Hendricks, granted 1 membership to somebody. Mike Cucumber, we appreciate your unwavering commitment. Backcountry Bandits became a new member. Steve, thanks for that super chat. I appreciate you becoming a member. So we picked up about 5 or 6 new members today. I really appreciate you doing that. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. I am 100% and will always be 100% operated by you guys. I will be supported 100% by you guys. I am beholden to no one. As a matter of fact, I'm not even beholden to you. I'm beholden to the truth. I owe it to you to bring the truth. I am obligated to you to tell truthful things. If ever I say something that's wrong or an error or something, Georgie Bob, thanks for gifting five disturbing illusion memberships. That's crazy. Thanks for doing that. If I ever am on the wrong side of it, please let me know. And, I'm going to, hey, thanks, Problematic. I appreciate that. Lost track. Yeah, it's easy to do when people keep getting unsubbed by this crazy platform. Then just let me know and we can discuss it. We can debate it. I don't have all truth. I don't even have partial truth probably, but the truth that I do know is nobody's got a higher claim over your life and property than you. Vice versa. Nobody's got a right to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. It's never right to steal from anybody. Even if you call yourself government, it's never right to try to rule somebody and enforce your will upon somebody that doesn't want your will enforced on them. And that's what government does. Therefore, government is not legitimate. And if it's not legitimate, then it doesn't really exist. If nobody's got a higher claim over you, then there's no such thing as government, because that is the fundamental characteristic of what government is. So when I look at a statist on the left, like Dean Withers here, or a statist on the right, like, I don't know, anybody from the Daily Wire or Stephen Crowder or whatever, they are inherently inconsistent in their thought. And they are automatically hypocrites because they don't stay with the virtues that we outlined about don't steal, don't murder, don't rape, don't enforce your will against somebody. So I appreciate you guys joining. I don't want to belabor this point. If you can, become a sub if it's within your ability to do so, or support the channel with the links. Definitely give this video a like, share it with everybody you know, and I will try to do at least 1 or 2 live streams every day, and I'll try to pick a time where most people will be able to tune in. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget, the price of freedom, and there is a price, is eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Stop securing your own oppression and start today. See you in the next one.